Today we're going to talk about how do you prevent objections instead of trying to have to overcome them later on. All right, how do you prevent objections from even happening in your prospect's mind? We're going to give you some Yoda Jedi stuff. You see, most of your objections, just so we all know, are triggered by you, the salesperson, and what you were saying. Let me give you an example of this. In this example, let's say if I said, okay, John, just go ahead and sign the contract here. Well, those two words, sign and contract, are two words that typically, with a lot of people, will trigger sales resistance because no one wants to sign something, a contract, that locks them into something that they might not want later on. But if I simply change those words to authorize the agreement, well, that means the same damn thing, but it's far more neutral. Everyone's okay with authorizing an agreement so they can get what they want. You see the difference? The government does a crazy good job of this. Let's take a look at the IRS. It stands for Internal Revenue Service. If it was called Internal Taxing Service, which means the same thing, we would all be up in arms. But the term revenue is far more neutral than the word taxing, right? So if you hear certain things in that sales conversation that you're in, there are signs to you that they're possibly going to have an objection when you go through your presentation and present what you're offering and the price points, then you need to ask certain questions to seed in their mind and eliminate that objection before it even comes up. So I'll give you an example. Let's say if you sold in the high-ticket industry and you sold a training program that teaches business owners how to scale their companies. And the prospect says halfway through, well, we've tried so many different programs, it just haven't worked out for us. Well, now you know they probably still have that fear in their mind about what you do if you do the same thing. So when you drop the price of what it's going to take to buy your services, do you think they're still going to have that fear in their mind? More than likely they are. So I might say something like this. Hold on, when you say it didn't work for you, what programs did you actually go through? That way you know what they went through. They're going to answer and then you're going to say, okay, and what parts of those do you feel didn't help you though? You want to ask that question so you understand what in their mind what they feel didn't help. Then when they tell you, you're going to say, okay, and were there other people getting results doing those? Now, more than likely, they're going to say, yeah, for sure, there were some people. Okay, so help me understand. If there were other people getting results, what do you feel held you back from having the same success? Now, why would I want to ask that? This is where they start to view in their mind that maybe it was them. Maybe they didn't put in the time. Maybe they didn't really work hard enough or really show up, and it empowers them to feel like they're not going to let that happen again. Now, at the end of the presentation, it's very hard for them to have the objection now because you've helped them overcome it in their mind so it doesn't resurface later in the sales process as an objection. Now, of course, you're still going to get some objections, but you can literally eliminate most of them from even happening if you understand objection prevention. If you do get an objection, you first want to clarify what the objection is, like what's behind it, discuss it like two people working together to solve it, collaborative, and ask what we call diffusing questions to help them overcome it on their own. Okay, we just went over how to prevent objections in a prospect's mind instead of having to overcome objections later, and that is your tip for the day.